Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the first round of a series against
Akron STEM. We are going to be facing them off in the playoff match here. My voice is a little weak from being ill. So Coach Mosey is going to be taking a lot of the heavy lifting here. I'll try to comment when I can, but can't do too much in this moment. This is to determine who will move on to the state finals for Overwatch, and we hope that BHS will be able to overcome their most, I'd say their biggest rivals. Obviously, they also have a rivalry.
Long history here between Barberton and Akron. They've been scrim partners for a long time, and there's been a long series of good games between the two teams. We see Akron going out on a Zenyatta-based dive comp right away versus the slow Zenyatta, the slow Zarya style play here. Immediately taking high ground for Barberton.
Yeah, they got up there quick.
Trying to force Akron to push into him here. They're not really sure who to dive on quite yet. Corvo looking for the jump, comes up on top. Although Levi gets taken out immediately, they trade for Yi here. Corvo does not get out in time. Barberton up one kill here. Taking point presence now, pushing straight into main here. Very quick engage. Own Dog and Monk trying to survive out here. Sunwolf looks like he gets the execution on the Ana and does. Monk safely retreats into his own spawn. Point goes to Barberton.
We're going to go a bit more analytic on this one today because we really want to break down for the players how this series goes.
Let's see how Barberton can take this next fight here.
We might see a few more pauses and rewinds on some plays today than our usual match.
Looking for a clean right click here from Ram, pushing into this corner. Oh, Sleepless gets slept there. Manages to get out slowly though. Though the push here from the Zenyatta-based comp is doing so much damage, slowly walking through this corridor here. They didn't really have a whole lot to mitigate the damage here Barberton did. And eventually the point does get flipped over to Akron STEM. I would have liked to seen them play the high ground and like let let Akron take the low ground there and just continue to use their high ground advantage. Never want to really take a 1v1 against a good Zenyatta if you land the right clicks. Looks like Barberton's trying to walk in from the low ground now, pushing the same straight through main. Ultimate popped, does manage to get one with the disruption field. Training DPS is here, and then the tank goes down for Barber. This is pretty much a lost fight. Not able to really secure any eliminations. Oh, they do get the Corvo. A little bit over aggressive there.
Sleepless was in there, but he was so far away from the rest of his team. I don't know if they couldn't see him for heals or there was miscommunication or what.
This is a bit of a slow retreat right here. Barberton could have lost their Reaper twice. Wasn't able to get any trades there, and Corvo doesn't manage to get back to the fight. Very sporadic positioning from the Akron STEM here, trying to cover as many angles as possible. Oh. Barberton tries to go through main again and gets domed in the head again with those Zenyatta right clicks. You have to really punish, or be very careful, or you'll get punished.
Huge fumble from the Kiriko on Barberton there. They really shouldn't have been the first one in front.
Absolutely, especially not into a sniper sight line.
Did they try to throw their ult there for the rush?
Absolutely.
And that got totally canceled.
Correct, yeah. So Barberton's now down in the ult economy here. Akron STEM has 4. And we have only 1 from Barberton. We're coming up on 2 more, but it's going to be a little bit difficult fighting up into this. Let's see if they try a different route this time. So we have Brendo off on the side. Slips out from behind, not quite with his team here. Fight's taking place on the high ground. Monk in a very far position in the back there, just trying to get as much damage as he can. A little bit difficult, but ooh. The grab did not manage to save the team, although it does force out Transcendence. The Death Blossom getting the 3K there with no beat to really shut that down. Really punish the team there, and it looks like Akron STEM's going to take this first map.
So based on this here, what would you say was Barberton's biggest set of mistakes there? It looks like, to me,
continuously pushing through main after it was determined that they didn't have a vertical mobility comp and walking into punishing sight lines. If you just stand in the middle of the open, someone's going to shoot you and you will die.
I also saw some maybe over-eager ults or maybe a bad position for an ult out of the Kiriko, and then I know at the end it looked like Barberton had a lot of ults in their pockets that they were just sitting and spawned with after they got killed.
That was right at the end there. That came down to a little bit of an ultimate economy issue due to the fact that they had fed so many times in the previous fights that allowed Akron STEM to get their ultimates online quicker.
What does Barberton need to do differently this round?
I would say take a high ground and punish targets, and instead of trying to slam straight into a fight, especially against a fight where they have lesser DPS. And it looks like they're doing exactly that. They have a 4-person high ground right now. 5 now. Although with the Reaper, they're going to have a little bit of a difficult time trying to get charge up on him. So let's see what Akron tries to do to counter this. Taking the high ground position here in mid, I like that.
Akron's got the Reaper too.
A little bit of ringing around the Rosie at the top here. Ram does pick off Brendo right away. Let's see if the fight can be swung back. Nope. We lose the Ana there, and it's going to be a cleanup here for Akron STEM. Oh, dragging this fight out quite a bit. There goes
remake kill on
remake
Levi.
kill. Interesting.
I still think they should be getting out here. I guess, yeah. I think he could have just escaped on that.
I think so too. A lot of what was going on there was highly situational. Yes, they did get 2 kills, and Brendo coming in for the revenge. Does he manage to get a 2K? Because this actually swing back.
2v2, yeah, their Lucio's up too far. Couldn't keep the support up. That's a misplay by Akron, I think.
I would say so too. They got the point, and they think they weren't going to have reinforcements in time.
I guess, you know, it was a risky play, but it played off in that moment. I don't know if it was the right play, but they took a 2v3, and it came out on top for Barberton.
So now they're trying to fight and choke here, and instead I would like to let them give space to Akron a little bit instead of just trading abilities here. Interesting position. No one's there to peel for the Ana really, other than the Genji. Forcing out some abilities, and the Monkey might be able to re-dive on this here in a second now because of that. Oh, and the disruption field wipes out Brendo there. Doesn't even really dive the background now, so it's kind of a brawl. Yeah, there's right here. There's not a whole lot of punishing going on right now.
Akron's got the ult economy too.
A great
Nice
beat coming out of Barberton, shutting that down.
Beat from Mikey.
Lots of ultimate trade there.
Oh, Barberton does not able to get the blossom off.
A little bit late there on the ult usage. Immediately shut down, and especially they still got Transcendence out, but it wouldn't have had much value to begin with there. So now pushing back into this, what should Barberton be doing? Well, they really only have Bomb and Blade at this point, where there are there's the Railgun ability, Primal, and Nano, and what would likely is going to happen is that there's going to be a Nano Monkey initiation as soon as they try to push through here. What I would like to see from Barberton is try to get a flank. Okay, the Bomb tries to clear the point. They take good positioning, and then they try to clear this high ground coming across.
Well, they get the pick on the Monkey. He wasn't ready for them to take that space that quickly.
He did have a huge amount of damage done to his barrier from the bomb, so he didn't have any ability to mitigate much more than maybe a couple hundred HP. And this is a bit of an interesting cleanup here. Monk popping the ult, trying to save the day there. That was a little bit of a fumble by
yeah, Monk should not have done that. I was just about to say how disciplined they were by holding the ults in that fight, knowing that they would have 4 to take the next fight, or 3 at least, and then Monk popped that ult, and I'm very surprised.
Right. So now we still only have the Blade here, and we would want to see this come out early. And it looks like Brendo is trying to take a little high ground position here, scouting out what Akron STEM's doing, but Akron still has that that Nano Monkey into an eventual Primal for a sustained fight here. But what they're looking for is an early pick on the Kiriko, and they're doing a long rotation around. Oh, Alec a little bit caught out there trying to take the one going with Ram, and he gets it. And here comes the Blade out of Brendo, maybe a little bit post-mortem. Ooh, immediately shut down, interestingly enough. Barberton not really there to support that. The Nano does come out on the Monkey eventually. Trading here, interesting. It's now 2v3 still. And another bomb comes out for Alec.
Oh, nice time Wraith. Oh, he came out of the Wraith too soon.
Yup, and then that's the second time he's gotten mech killed there from Alec. A little bit of a missed target there, I think. The focus should have been on the Monkey to maximize damage, because he was going to pop Primal regardless, but he can still be burned down. But it looks like Akron accidentally C9's there. A little bit too excited. Barberton takes that W.
So I saw a really nice beat out of Mikey there. Then I saw some sort of ult fumblage from the rest of the team, or maybe bad priority calls immediately after. That doesn't mean that, you know, there weren't some mistakes probably from Mikey as well in the match. But I just remember that was a highlight there that protected them against the Blossom. That was a good time of that.
It was very good, yes, because it came out almost at the same exact time. I don't know if it was a prediction there, because once you see how much damage the Reaper does, you can generally get a prediction on when he's going to want to use it. And the Reaper is pretty talented too, so a prediction beat definitely saved the team. Now, so they continue to run the D.Va into this, although they don't know that Akron is currently going to run a Zarya, and there's not a whole lot of advantage to using a D.Va here, because there's not a whole lot of high grounds to use, because there's a little platform to wrap around here that there's plenty of cover already. You don't really need to have DM to block
Genji
anything.
fighting Barberton in the back line here.
Looks like they're trading, immediately losing the D.Va and the Genji on different teams there.
Monk picks Stamich though.
A lot of interesting trading. Monk going all the way in the back. That was a really good punish by Barberton. Got super out of position, did not let him go. But the Barberton's reinforcements here to the point is a little bit slow.
They're waiting on the D.Va remake.
I don't think that was necessary. They could have taken that fight to him right away.
I think you're correct.
So trading still here, losing the mech again. They do flip the point though, so now it's going to be a 3v4 here in favor of Akron. Losing another DPS, and they're just going to flip it right back. And look who comes out on top of Ultimate Economy again. It's Akron. And a lot of that has to do with not punishing those who are still weak and low in these small engagements, because eventually you lose more and more fights because you lose more fights, and therefore you lose more ults. It's a snowball style of game.
Felt like our tank wasn't mitigating damage as much either.
Genji duel on the side here, and Levi bites the dirt, unfortunately. So they're down 1 DPS. How does Barberton capitalize on this? Start walking into point.
Ryan TPing deep, but gets picked by Ram on
yes,
TP.
the right clicks. You really need to respect those right clicks from a good Zenyatta, as mentioned before.
You get to pick on Monk.
They're trading here.
Yeah.
Brendo still a little bit deep a lot of these fights here, and he doesn't really have a pocket the way he would need. A defensive rush here just to keep point presence, and then the ultimate comes out on the Zarya. She's not quite fully charged though. She might be now.
They
And there
gotta
comes
kill
another
Akron's. There you go. That
Ooh, the priority on the Genji.
Levi's
little bit
cleaning up like
mechanics there.
crazy.
Not even just that, he's also getting hard pocketed to the entire rest of the team there
Super
too.
enabled.
So he got the grenade, he got pocket heals, and the team was there to support him the whole time. So even if Akron, or rather if Barberton had perfect aim, I think that Genji still might have been able to do a lot of damage. Although it is something that you need to turn and immediately address instead of shooting a couple more times. Because even one clip or one bullet even in the wrong place at the wrong time is going to cost you games at this level of play.
Should they have just rotated on the supports there instead of trying to finish that pocket?
There wasn't a whole lot of mobility left.
Yeah.
They needed some kind of mitigation to prevent the incoming healing on that Genji to really shut that down. Because the healing from the Ana there and the grenade that eventually sustained them the entire fight is what won it with Akron there. There comes the Bade forcing out Trance there in the back line. There's a double dive. They got two. So even with the Trance, it didn't actually matter too much. Now this beat, I'm not really sure what it would accomplish.
I wonder if it was a fat finger, because it seems like a weird beat to throw out there.
Right, they were up 2 and now 4, and the beat wasn't really addressing any major threat other than maybe like a 1 low health target. And it's okay to drop a fight when you're already up 2, especially when you have ultimate and ability advantage. In that situation, we still did.
I'd like
Larval coming in for a little peek here. This should be shut down immediately. There is a grab.
Oh, nice grab to keep the rest of the team back over there, but are they going to be able to fight this off? Sunwolf goes off with the ult.
Nice zoning, actually. This was a
big play from Barberton, honestly.
Absolutely. So the counter grab with a Blossom there, I think they were going for an offensive grab, and the same with their Zarya. However, the Akron Zarya's team fell right into that, and with Preston there to use the Suzu, really kept everybody alive from the right clicks, and then one other DPS that was there with them.
Barberton taking some damage here to generate heals for the ult for Presto, or not Presto, Syria.
Yep, and here comes Rush. Needed one more ult to keep this alive. So it's been
there's
instant tap. The Genji with the Nano Blade there. Still trading though.
He's just cleaning up too much.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage to mitigate, and that might have been one of those times where we needed the whole team to really focus on that one thing. There's a lot of fighting in the choke there, and Akron realized that, so they just went hard on the push.
Barberton retake. Brendo might get an ult here.
He does touch. Ooh, losing E right away though. An interesting hack on the sports in the backline there, almost taking down the
There's ball.
the Ana. It's a 1v5 right now here. It's gonna be really difficult for Barberton to really make much out of this, and I don't think they have anyone else who can touch. All right, so the first map goes to Akron. There's a lot of good fights there, back and forth, and it's been pretty close ever since. But there's a lot of things that I would like to see Akron just polish out. There's like little inaccuracies, because at this level of play, it's not like really super common or obvious mistakes that are going to set us apart from other teams. It's the little stuff that is going to start to matter more and more now.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and join you guys on our next map, which Barberton's going to mix it up, I believe. Not going with the usual Kings Row, but going a different map. Knowing that Kings Row is a favored map of Akron STEM, I'd say it's one of Akron STEM's best. One of Barberton's best too, but they felt that they wanted to shake things up, so let's look at that shake-up here in a moment.
All right, welcome back, gamers, for round 2 of the play-ins for the Northeast Regionals Overwatch Premier Division. Looks like they're going to run the Zenyatta again, Akron that is. Pretty much the same exact comp that they ran on the first map here.
I'd like to see Barberton punish this Zen more, because Zen is just such a soft target. If you can close the distance and finish them off, like I know I saw Alec take a couple picks on that Zen, and once that Zen's gone, not
interesting
nearly
with the Torbjorn pick. Let's see if it actually carries through with the match here. I do like the pick on the Zarya here coming out strong, although a Monkey would actually be pretty good too.
We did see Ana and the Kiriko from Akron on the last map though, so they have switched things a bit from the very last round, giving Barberton a lot of space here.
Yep, they're just walking the point, taking that under bridge area, which has been a favorite in OWL. So there's a little bit of fighting. They counter rotate to the other side. Actually, they isolate the Monkey here. A little bit of a fighting in here, in this little doorway here. It's
Brendon's low. He just couldn't get Barberton there.
Yeah, he's been eating a lot of the
Kaeden needs to pick on Levi. Without that DPS pressure from the Genji, this should be Barberton's time to push in.
Yep, and Akron realizes this too. They give up a little bit of space. They let Barberton take the point here. Counter dive goes in, although
kill this Monkey. He's dead, right?
Brendo is pressuring those DPS. Both go down, or rather, they were super low. They managed to get out right at the last second. Yi going down from a continuous bout of pressure there, and eventually the whole team oh, they're trading. So this is a very interesting situation where Akron only has 2 up and their nearest respawn's a little while away. If Barberton can get a quick 3 up, correct. If Barberton can get a quick re-engage, they can take this pretty cleanly. Let's see where the team's at. Zenyatta not too quick, but he looks like he's going to beat Barberton. Ooh, does not make the jump, and the Monkey does come back.
Would have liked to have seen Barberton take this space a little faster.
Absolutely.
Alec tries to go for the push, but I don't know if he didn't quite get the high ground he wanted or what. Another pick from Kaeden against Levi. Like
and
those
to sleep on point there. A good coordination from Akron to get the execution there, but Ram falls after a dive on the DPS who weren't, or the sports who weren't really paying attention to what Barberton was doing there.
They saved the Monkey for last. They should be able to get this finish here. Barberton's got all the support they need. They got a DPS and a rage
Levi's
Monkey.
Coming back.
I think Barberton still has it.
I think so too. Monkey eventually goes down, and Levi will follow shortly. And there it is.
Barberton needs to get ready for this next fight. They'll let the Lucio cap or something.
They have 5 ultimates here to Akron's 2, coming up on 3 here. And a lot of the push through streaks here is going to come down to a chain of ultimates to get 1 or 2 out per fight, just to continuously win fight after fight, and to shut down any counterplay that Akron could offer here.
Oh, Brendo gets picked by Ram.
Ram's right clicks been absolutely devastating the whole series so far. Getting a nice cleanup there on Kaeden as well, pushing everybody back into choke. Barberton wise, not try to lose anyone. Ooh, Sleepless managed to fall off that high ground there and eventually gets picked. Forced to use the bomb to remech. Although Monk's a little bit overextended there, gets picked off, and then Blade traded for Trance here.
I'm surprised to see
no
the
support
remake.
ultimates after this. Let's see if they can win the ooh, and then the counter blade comes out. Doesn't manage to get any picks. Nope, the beat saves the day.
And then we had Rush out there too. Barberton just pressing Q to win here.
Absolutely. That's what ultimates are for. Saving the one. Eventually cleaning up this fight here. I will say at the macro level of things, Akron definitely came out on top. They committed overall less ults here. And although they only have one ult, so does Barberton with otherwise roughly equal.
Kaeden chasing that down.
Otherwise roughly equal amounts of ult charge in the grand scheme of things. So in this next fight, it could be anybody's fight. Let's see if Monk gets a magic right click. Building some charge here, getting Transcendence back so quickly.
Getting punished. Oh, maybe not.
Not quite. Barberton didn't have the follow-up there. The D.Va went in to try and punch that low target. Wasn't able to follow it up there. A lot of people fighting in the choke. And Akron takes a dry fight there. No ults committed. And that was pretty decisive, too. A lot of ult charge going in the favor of Akron. So this next fight is for Akron's taking, unless, which is interesting to me, there was no usage of Sojourn's ult from Barberton.
Could have used that at the start to maybe counteract that whole offensive.
Right, or just firing some of those railgun shots down through choke, clip ahead. Barberton's trying to figure out which way they want to go. They see two isolated targets here, and a low. Ooh, they get the. There's the ultimate that they needed. Taking down the tank as well. Looks like both teams used their ultimate, and it was much more effective for Barberton there. Although it was a little bit messy overall, we can now see that once again their Zenyatta, Akron's Zenyatta, is already back up to Transcendence. And this was before any of the other DPS or tanks even, or supports on Akron, or Barberton rather, got their ultimate. So at any time, it's this Zenyatta's fight right now.
Ram is the captain of Akron, and you can tell that he sets the tone for the fights, I think. By having that ult economy, he has a lot of commanding ability to sort of say, we're going to fight now, I'm going to have trance, so I'm going to use trance for this.
It's really the deny button.
Yep.
Anything Barberton tries to do here. They do have the rush. Ooh, Brendo goes down without using his ultimate. Probably smart to not use anything else here. Although they are feeding more ultimate charge into here without much in exchange.
I think he was hoping to get maybe a flanking ult there on the...
So we're up to 2 support ultimates for Akron. So now they have the Nano Boost as well. Coming up on Blossom. Still no beat, and beat is going to be crucial here because that's really the only thing that you have to deny something like a Blossom or a Blade from Akron, and it's coming on very slowly here. Brenda doing an early engaged deflect here, and there's the Transcendence where Akron says, nope, even if you rush Blade, we have enough HPS to shut down. And one ultimate coming out from, oh, there's the second DPS ult, and the Nano Boost onto Levi to really secure those eliminations.
Did Barber throw the grab out there to try to perhaps counter that ult? It looks like the grab went up.
So the drops happened as the Graviton was going out, and it was a savior play, but it ended up getting no value because they were still within the sphere of influence of that Reaper, and the Reaper was also Nano Boosted. Barberton not taking any time to sleep. They're coming straight in for another fight here. Dry on both teams, although Kaeden coming up with the ult here.
Remixing their D.Va. Reaper walking away.
Manages to get the kill on the Brendo too, getting heals while in Wraith form, and then immediately going on to a DPS to get out.
Trying to get the supports in the back line. It does go down.
Still trading here.
Mikey just trying to get out here.
Does he manage to get out? And yes, he does, just barely.
Scary.
Yeah, the Discord orb really kind of shuts down any kind of like lingering play or like hero plays on the side, because with that increased damage received, like if anyone clips you at all, you're taking just so much more damage, and the timing.
You get to pick on Monk.
Interesting. A little bit of Reddit Lucio there to really set the tone of the fight. Now can Akron or Barberton continue to push through here? Finally dive onto the point there. There's a lot of low targets from Akron, although none of them actually go down.
He comes out. Bomb.
Can the bomb be LOS? It does. Oh, Ram, 1 HP, still hanging on. Does eventually go down. Does Monk get anything? He does not. And this will roll straight into last. I don't think they have anything to touch. A good stuff play from Barberton. coming out with overtime, but managed to secure the last point there. Let's see what Akron can do.
Score 0-3. Switching sides.
What did you see that you liked that round? What did you see you didn't like out of Barberton?
I liked knowing when the tempo was set to really continue the engage. There's a lot of times where Barberton took an L and was like, we don't have time to take another L. We're just going to shove this right in. And this time, it paid out.
Round 1 complete.
Oh, rewind a little bit. Now we're back up to where we needed to be. Still in the hero selection screen. Some of the things I didn't quite like from Barberton there, a little bit of a delay on usage of some abilities and some misplay on abilities too, where it felt like there could have been so much more value having chucked out
The Sojourn ult, for example.
Correct, yes, like holding on to things and not really opening up with it. And another thing too, Barberton seems to have been really spread in a lot of these fights, where there's an initiation happening, where they form a long train, where their first player in is miles ahead of their last player in. Not really favorable in a game where sightlines and tangibles are starting to become much more favored, where you would want to play more horizontal to your team, making a concave in on the enemy formation.
Otherwise, you're just making a death funnel.
Correct, yes. A meat grinder, so to speak, giving Akron that juicy ult charge. Ooh.
Wow, him looks for the fix right there. Didn't connect with anybody.
Playing positioning quite well. Doesn't want to expose his head too long. Akron taking or Barberton taking a nice defensive position here, waiting for Akron really to make the move.
Ready to drop back, I think, if they pressure under bridge.
A good attempted knock there to get the Genji out of the way. They're slowly giving up space here. Barberton playing this very patient. They know this map very well. Building a lot of ult charge in that initial hold. Ooh, but they lose Kaeden to another right click there. Sleepless trades for the tank there, but no support. A huge push in there. Where's the healing?
They're in the back fighting a Genji.
Does this Genji manage to get out? While Ram ends up...
He does not get out.
At Brendo.
Alec is gonna remech, maybe?
I think that was still value for the Genji, interestingly enough, because it distracted the healers so much that they weren't able to perform their job.
Akron doesn't know they should be pushing in here or something? I don't know what the delay is. D.Va's remech. Slept.
I think they had more of a... they thought they had more of a disadvantage than they actually did.
Maybe they were looking for the baby. D.Va couldn't find it. Ooh, big kicks.
Yeah. Not really a great place to try to fade into and to retreat there, especially when the whole team starts to turn on that. The nano boost coming out and Sleepless tried to buy a little bit more time there. Although Barberton does go completely down and is way behind in Ultimate Economy. There's the nano boost and the or almost 4 ults online for Akron versus the 1.5 really for Barberton. And not even 1 anymore, because they had to switch off to the monkey, trying to do some bit of counterplay. Because it is smart there to do that because of how badly the Zarya counters a D.Va in this meta. Interesting position from Brendo, waiting for his teammates to call out a possible flank or position or a push that he could do. The Sojourn coming in, looking for an angle. The monkey fighting indoors here, a little bit interesting.
Here. 3 up, 2 back from Akron STEM.
Monk making a good flank here, trying to take the 1v1 against Kaeden. And then gets zoned out by the monkey, although there has been slow cart time.
Rush on, point.
Not all of Barberton there was able to use it.
Sleep in the back.
Nano Blade comes in though, cleaning up the whole team. Again, lack of the focus fire, the lack of the denying abilities, the things to really shut that down. So let's think about what Barberton could have used. They could have used Suzu. They didn't really have any ultimates. Fade was used, I think, in an engage to get some eliminations on Akron there, and there wasn't a whole lot else, maybe besides Disruption Field.
They contest this, you think? Monkey in the contest.
Trying to buy a little bit of time, and he forces out Trance, interestingly enough.
I don't think he needed Trance there.
I don't think so either,
I
think so too. Oh wow, with the ultimate, that was very good patience there to wait until the Transcendence ended. Maybe they thought the Death Blossom was going to come out immediately. Barberton swinging this back. caught Akron with their pants down, it felt like.
Yeah, I think that was nice ult usage, waiting for that trance to run out, and I mean a bit of a misplay from Ram.
So what I would like to see from Barberton is an early use here on the Sojourn ultimate to try and get 1 or 2 picks, really just 1 pick to determine the pace of the rest of the fight, so that we don't have to use a ult. Nope, there it is. Let's see if we can get some shots. Trying to shoot upfield here is not all that great. I would maybe like to have seen a further flank all the way around. It's a little bit hard to shoot in these windows. Well, the grab only ends up getting 1. And they end up losing the Zarya over it. Levi trying to get a pick here, and he ends up getting 1 with the assistance of Ram there. 2-3 now. What looks to be a 1 fight for Barberton ended up being an eventual loss there. After the trade of tanks.
I think the Sojourn shouldn't have been heading up the stairs there. They could have been on that opposite high ground, shoot through the window, same effect.
I would like to see it all the way around, and Ram with yet another Transcendence.
Again already.
A little bit early again. A very interesting pick on the Bastion, especially trying to contest where you would normally just have Sleepless on the point the whole time. Really could have been sitting up here in this corridor shooting down range. Point eventually goes to Akron, and it feels like I would want to say normally this would have been great for Akron, but they used Transcendence for this. So it's hard to say that there wasn't value for Akron, especially considering they forced them to wait a little bit further on the payload. I like the off position from Brendo, but he really needs to disengage to remove the orb, and there he does. Kaeden trying to get some pop shots, although he doesn't quite have the charge there. Disruption field on the ceiling does get Monk there. Great placement on the ability. Pushing in here, starting to roll him back a little bit.
They finish off Levi this time.
Oh, just not enough aim damage there. And with the Harmony Orb and a couple of actual landed shots from their Ana in the background. Again, it's not Levi on his own getting these team wipes. It is his supports double enabling him to keep him alive there. And
they're hard committing on him to keep. They know he will kill if he's just alive long enough.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be too long, too, because with the nano boosted Genji Blade, that's a 2-tap for most heroes. Barberton come back in strong. Ooh, does lose the Bastion right at his spawn there. The Ana actually secures that kill. Not really a way to get around those line of sights with the character so slow and immobile.
So low on this Sojourn. She walks out.
Ooh, the Barberton Sojourn gets included in the back of the head, although he does manage to get a pick on the Monk there.
This time not so lucky for little Levi. When he's not enabled, was punished by Barberton.
What about trying to get out? Does Barberton let him? Nope, absolutely not. Monk's trying to go for some cheeky right clicks with Transcendence again, and keep in mind, Transcendence is not an ultimate that comes online very quickly. Well, Barberton almost up to 5 ults right now. It should be really in their jurisdiction to shut down any advances from Akron here. So there is some play here. Very good positioning from Akron, not exposing themselves too much. Just slowly walking in here. And the Transcendence to save the day. And Levi does killing the Zarya from Akron. Ultimate's coming out a little bit too late here from Barberton. And this right here is getting no punishment whatsoever. Just free farming damage and healing from the high ground. Sleepless forced on the ball here to continuously fight this out. Still trading. Brendo on the soldier in the corner there. And eventually does push it back here. But down to, oh, there comes another ultimate out of Barberton. Ooh, and the blade.
Trade. He gets the monkey in exchange. Fires off.
So with ult disadvantage, it looks like Akron might come out on top here. Just due to the pace at which Barberton used. There was a couple that just weren't used early enough, and some that came right in the nick of time. But ultimately, even being down in ultimate economy, Akron is making it happen. They know if they don't get this capped here, they lose it. slowly get some picks on there, and the back for Akron too. A little bit of a discombobulation too, because it looks like Akron doesn't really, or Barberton doesn't really know which targets to get. Eventually gets that monkey, and it's just Ram on point now. And Barberton takes the map. A little bit of a C9 there from the Lucy at the end, though, but it was a really good boot to keep him off point. And it looked like it probably wouldn't have went in favor in Akron to begin with. But it goes to show that just simply having ults doesn't mean you win. You need to use them effectively.
Yeah, and Barberton's making me a little nervous around the end of that round. It was definitely a bit scary, but they managed to get the win, so it's 1-1 in the series right now. Let's go to map 3. Bringing up game 3 here. Let's get to it.
Looks like it's going to be on Gibraltar, which is an interesting pick from Akron here. One of the maps that Barberton's not necessarily practiced on too much, not seen too commonly in the league overall.
That means that if they pick this map, it must be a map that Akron is trained heavily on. And we expect it to be a very difficult map for Barberton based on that logic.
And it looks like they have an interesting comp for it too, running the Brigitte on defense there and having positions that they have agreed on before. It looks like they're just going to take this high ground.
They clearly know where to be. This is not accidental.
I absolutely agree. And Barberton, let's see how they react to this and how they can figure out how to deal with this. Looks like they're just running the same old comp that they have been for quite a few runs here.
Well, it's meta. It usually works, but...
Usually.
Didn't expect to see a Brig up here, that's for sure.
That is correct. Disruption field not getting a whole lot of value. Trading in the defense matrix, and Kaeden's super low there, not really getting a whole lot of support.
I thought he was going to get
super
killed
low.
in the murder hole.
That is because both DPS, supports dropped.
Picked Ram.
Interesting, still going down. Barberton up a player here, but they end up losing the Brendo trying to push us onto the high ground. Ooh, a little bit of a sloppy position, taking a little bit too much damage. The Brendo, oh, he does get punished for it. No bailout from Preston there after the retreat.
By the way, they are pushing the cart. Barberton
Which is somewhat helpful, but I think the cart should have been abandoned there to convert that one up kill into a team fight win, because they could have gotten so much more cart time out of it. They could have possibly even gotten a whole cap. Engage here from the Diva. This positioning on the Sojourn from Barberton is a little bit confusing, because it's really difficult to shoot up this sheer vertical cliff. Ends up just getting cleaved down from the Brigitte, and Sleepless going down as well. And this is going to be a whole team fight loss here. The Akron playing a Brawl in a position where Brawl's really favored, whereas you would normally want to have DPSs at range be at range. So I think it's a square peg through a round hole situation for Barberton right now.
Barberton's trying to beat Rock with scissors, and that's not what's going to happen here.
Trading a few shots.
They need to turn their scissors into paper.
Absolutely.
Play to the strength of the heroes they have.
A TP goes in from... Oh, the Reapers meet on the orb there. And Barberton's idea is, like, if we can't go over, we'll go under. Some ultimates traded here. Barberton's super low in HP. There's not a whole lot of healing going out is the thing. And it ends up, oh, they stabilize. They're trading here. Another ultimate is forced into Barberton to try to get a pick out of it. And it does. Multiple ults used here. So Barberton,
get this
not
baby
confident.
out of here.
So much damage was taken from that
Kill that baby
field.
diva. What is going on? Oh, finally.
That was quite a bit sloppy. Monk eventually does go down, but the disruption orb damage was insane there. That whole fight, there was not enough sustained healing all around.
Do we want different healers out of Barberton for this, or what was the error there?
Placing the heals correctly.
Levi down quick. I don't know what he was doing.
He tried to touch, but he used his right in. And the bomb catches 2. LOS, guys. 3 even with a remake. Corvo, MVP, turning the whole fight around. That's just positioning, knowing geometry here. And Barberton managed to get out. Uh-oh. Preston overstayed his welcome? Nope, not with the teleport ability. That's why we like running Kiriko, but Kiriko really needs to have the healing placed when necessary. And a lot of it comes from just not taking so much damage.
Pretty even ult economy going into this next fight.
It's slightly in favor of Akron, but I would agree. A Beat can shut down a lot of offensive ults here,
Look
but
at
they don't
Akron's
have the
positioning
ones.
here, so good.
Absolutely. This is where you would expect the range characters to be, at length, at range here. Barberton fighting backwards into a corridor, diving on the high ground with just the tank. Oh, here comes Akira to bail him out. He gets railgunned, although Kaeden's not able to land any hits here on his attack here. Monk gets saved by the bell, literally. And eventually Alec goes down as well.
Yeah, while it's going on, Corvo getting picks in the back line on this heroes on low ground.
Absolutely.
Barber just couldn't get a finish off. Their support supported.
It was a lot of no one really knew where to stand. With a Lucio right in the face of enemies not really going for a knock off of the high ground, just getting picked off with a railgun shot there. The Sojourn from Barberton not landing any of these shots across the catwalk against the entire rest of the team there. Corvo just lasering the back line. Absolutely, not really much to deal with it there. Can Barberton have a stalwart defense against the oppressive Akron on this map?
What kind of hold are we hoping to see here? As far as, I mean, obviously you want to stop it from reaching Barberton's card, but
the meta has changed significantly. You can't just have a camp in place kind of play style unless you're brawling, because even Akron adjusted to knowing that yes, this is the best high ground, but there's additional back positions that we can take. Barberton's going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, and I'm not sure what the plan is. Going to the Baptiste is smart. I think especially for that life-saving ability, and going with the double big heals is also a very powerful defensive tool. Problem is that they lose impact to take duels and fights. So unless they commit a lot of abilities to an individual and get picks from an overcommit on a target, they're going to lose in the long run, because eventually the supports from the offensive team are going to be stronger. Interesting pick with the McCree here as well, and its positioning from Kaeden being so far back, fighting in this corridor when it could just be taking pot shots over here by the orb.
Maybe they're thinking to mirror what happened last time, but from the perspective of Akron STEM taking their position here. But I don't know that Akron STEM placed their heroes in the same place that Barberton did, because they're different heroes.
And they're hard pushing through here. The McCree trying to get some right clicks does end up getting it, but that was a really risky play, especially with the purple.
Genji's right here.
Forcing out the lamp, didn't come out in time. Demec'd anyway. Genji goes right back in, and manages to get around.
Oh, so
out.
close, so close.
One pick, or one little tip of damage. Really need to have a long-range DPS over by this orb.
Yeah, we need to get even ID to take the Baptiste over there. Oh,
Get the remake just in time.
perhaps Kaeden will take that position now. We'll see.
Genji comes in and forces out some abilities, although the Disruption Orb is there to support him. The Counter Disruption Orb does a little bit of damage to the Akron's Anna, but
Sleevis
no
goes
punish.
down there. Ah, that was
Missed the lamp again.
missed lamp, and then taking that fight down on the low ground. I don't know if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, especially when you already have a low support on the high ground that could have been dove there. And the team get out safely. They don't want to feed too many more points here. Oh, the right click onto Yi there, dropping the Ana. Can Kaeden get out? With just 1 point of health.
Oh, close.
Brendo does not. The McCree has just got hardly any mobility on a map where mobility is very important. That is not the best pick. Coming into last, can Barberton come out of the fight here? They immediately lamp.
Levi cleans up in the back though.
Yeah, there's just not any ultimates here to really save Akron from the onslaught of to save Barberton from the onslaught of ultimates that Akron had.
At that point, they had the ability to hit Q to win, and the Qs they had were better than any Q Barberton had in the tank. They had what, the Baptiste and the
And
McCree.
Blade and
No, but I mean Barberton had the Baptiste ult and the Kree ult. Other than that,
Kree wasn't there. Yeah, they couldn't really do anything with it.
even if they were there, what's that going to do against a nano-bladed Genji with a Zen Trance?
If it comes out at a good angle, it's one of the things that can shut it down. But without flashbang, you don't really want to be running a McCree against a Genji anyway. You want something like a mainstay DPS.
I'd say bad angles on Barberton's D there, just really not knowing where to be on a couple of the heroes, and then these lamps just weren't connecting. They came out just a fraction of a second too late.
Yep, I would agree. Akron early knew the map. They knew exactly where they wanted to stand, and they knew how to abuse high grounds.
It's clear that they went into that map with a plan. You know, maybe that's something Barberton, if they can't close out this season and are denied their spot in the finals, maybe that's something that could be worked on in the off season. Is looking at each map type having a map that if we've lost our previous round, we play this, and we play this so well, we will always win.
Absolutely. That's why I always suggest to play your worst heroes and your worst map. Welcome back for round 4 of Akron versus Barberton in the play-ins for the Northeast Ohio Regionals Overwatch Premier.
We're hoping we can swing this back here. Control is famously a type of map that Barberton struggles on sometimes, but I thought they looked not too bad on Busan at the beginning, so perhaps here, or sorry, not Busan,
on Oasis
at the beginning,
yeah.
so perhaps on Busan here, a map that Barberton is, I'd say, one of their stronger controls. I think that they could swing it here. Let's see what happens. Maybe they can force it to a 5th game.
Coming out on the Diva again on offense here. Although there are high grounds here, these are long high grounds, not really exactly where a Diva would want to be. Maybe even just over here on this pillar. Although with the push in here, Akron forced to use some abilities, but it does get healed back eventually. Lamp goes down. There's not a whole lot for Akron to sustain, but Barberton doesn't have anything of their own to push on this, and eventually just gets lasered down in the long run. Zarya being that 3rd DPS.
Yeah, Barberton's got to take a full reset from this as Akron goes to take point here. Sun will flex, see him get killed here.
But he gets Levi, so getting something for it.
Yeah, they got something. That is true. I'm just surprised that they didn't finish. Maybe they're trying to stagger, and that stagger ended up hurting them a little bit there, but even so.
Likely more for the ult charge to really have an answer for the next fight there, because the Wraith trying to get out probably would have been punished through a chase down main, because Akron's smart enough to know that they can abandon the point to get that one extra pick. So it's a bit of an interesting play there from both teams. They switch over to the Zarya now. Both bubbles out for Akron, and it doesn't end up mattering because it looks like Monk gets the right click onto the Sojourn for Barberton anyway. Slowly converting this into a win for them. All the defensive abilities and offensive abilities for Barberton used up pretty early, doesn't get any value, and eventually slowly dies to a longer fight here. And there's a lot of micro stuff happening all at once on multiple different heroes that are compounding into team fight losses. Let's see if Barberton can swing this back here. They decide that they want to rotate all the way over to right. It's like they're going left again.
Nice mind game, though. I think they tricked Akron out on that. I think Akron thought they were going right.
Just for a moment, but Akron played that well by knowing exactly where to stand. Nice beat to deny further damage from that, although the blade comes out at a perfect moment as soon as the...
Levi Elam, though, wasn't supported. The supports had to back off there.
And look why. Big LOS in the way, too. The supports here weren't able to get on the high ground quickly enough. Still ends up being a W for Akron there on that high ground.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know they still won the fight, but I think that generates some good ult economy for Barberton, and a lot of ults were coming out of...
So there's 2 ults from Akron right now, and there's about to be 3 for Barberton. It's about how quickly they can get them online. The 2 DPS ults are going to be the hardest ones to come out through here, especially with those bubbles. So they just walk to point. I think they only needed to have one person on ult. Although the Death Blossom comes out just in the nick of time. Gets the 3K there, flips the point back.
Oh, almost goes down.
Those offensive teleports, you really have to respect sight lines. In a high skill game, there are going to be really low TTKs. Monk getting a 2nd kill there as well. The tangibles are really starting to pay off here for high skilled aimed players. Being able to have that carry potential when there's not just massive barriers everywhere. So it's important to really be able to land your shots. A Graviton, the beat and the lamp come out to try and deny this.
Bit of a double commit there from Akron.
Ends up paying off because they drop one of Barberton there.
Kaeden's got the ult going off, but it looks like he took so much damage that he gets finished early.
Preston having a little bit of a trouble with the Genji in the backline there. He has to shove him off. Sleepless ends up getting the kill on the Lucio, but goes down for it due to the supports being distracted by Levi. Barberton's just really not able to deal with a single DPS on both of their supports. Sunwolf comes in to try and save it. It's lasered down. Kaeden gets that 1 toe in the point. It's in overtime now. Blade coming in to try to clean up this tank here. Suzu just for a second. Really nice reposition there from Preston, getting chased all the way down to main and then TPing back to point. Although it's still a 3v5 here. Rush comes out. Barberton holding on as the best they can. Graviton comes in. Beat doesn't really help because it wasn't online quite yet. Ult from Monk, it looks like. Yep. Connecting one of the railgun shots, and the point goes to Akron.
Well, the Barberton looked like they might be able to swing it back there for a minute. There were a couple picks against them and some sort of self-staggering when they were going for the finish on Monk, I think. And that kind of came back to bite
I think
them.
the fight was lost when the supports for Barberton just spent way too much time dealing with a single DPS who had only a couple of their abilities available to them at that moment in time, where a lot of the fighting was happening in the back line of Akron at the time, which eventually cost the tank's life. Need to have a little bit more patience and better positioning to deal with situations like that from Barberton, to know, like, I'm safe, I don't need to just constantly freak out from a Genji who's going to miss his shurikens against me. If I play around this way, I cannot lose line of sight of my tank. Kiriko really trying to come back and peel should honestly be somewhere completely different. Make it a 1v1. Barberton taking the high ground here, trying to get a little poke, which is interesting too, because the poke from Monkey's not great on his right clicks. There he goes, dives straight in, trying to go for the DPS and supports there. Out of abilities though. Forcing out Lamp though. Just not enough focus fire on the Barberton tank there. Akron fumbles this, I think. They had an opportunity to kill and they end up getting wiped.
They got one on. Asteria has to give up his life to keep from the cap, but he does.
Monk going crazy in the back line here.
Well, Monk was the one who was trying to get the cap,
Big
and now Monk is staggered as heck.
Absolutely. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult fight for Akron to push back into this. Barberton slightly up in the ult economy too. Been taking a smarter fight. Only one drop there. Uh-oh. A little bit of tickle damage. Akron wakes up for a second there. Getting nervous about how they want to play this. So they walk along to point. Barberton a little bit slow to rotate and start shooting back at this and punish this. Every nanosecond counts with the damage. A long flank from coming out of Preston, although he doesn't commit to it. Ends up baiting Sunwolf, who then gets focus fired by the entire Akron team. Need to really continue to push in on that, even if you leave your barrier behind. So if you get counter-rotated, do not bait the rest of your team. Ooh, Kaeden goes down. A little bit of a stagger. It's more of a feed than anything. Although Barberton should be the first to come up on some valuable ultimates here. Desperately needs to land some more shots there. Monk playing a little bit greedy. Not quite getting the healing he needs. Barberton's way too slow on that. Nice dive up over top. Doesn't quite land on the right targets. The Suzu and the Rush coming out is great. Although the Primal so early when it was completely unnecessary doesn't help a whole lot. That is true. I think that was more of a saving grace play there.
Barberton using the cover well, taking good targets.
Primal actually landing a kill as well. I think he just needed to go ape there. Now with almost 3 ults, they're still significantly up in ultimate economy here. Only thing for Akron is that they have the Blossom, which is going to be a little bit difficult to use if Barberton continues to use this high ground.
You like Barberton's positioning here?
Now, yes. Earlier it was a little bit interesting because it was a little bit hard to get line of sight, but now since they have the advantage, it's a lot easier for them.
Like
Although
Kaeden's
standing in the disruption field, that really hurts Barberton. A forward dive here too, interesting. Sunwolf coming in for the ultimate, although completely DM'd, did not burn down Corvo's DM before that. Corvo was right to save it because Monkey's attack does not actually get defense matrix, and there's no reason to use it there.
And now it's Akron that has the ult edge.
That is correct. Getting 2 with 2 different DPS ults here. Turns the fight all the way around. Sunwolf does not get compensation with this fight. Sleepless eventually goes down in the back. Only things on the board right now are Beat and Beat. Would have liked to see Beat come out way earlier for Barberton.
Yeah, and maybe some of those DPS ults, at least Sunwolf's, really got to respect the D.Va.
It was more that I think Barberton thought that they had depleted D.Va's defense matrix resource, but were using the completely wrong heroes to do it. Corvo being smart enough to just not use defense matrix, like, oh, they have a Reaper, he's gonna ult. And Barberton's plan was to shut down.
Melting that Reaper, nice.
Excellent job there. The beat comes out, but for what? This is a good beat from Akron because they're on the back foot, they're losing. They end up dropping a player anyway, so they're gonna probably lose this fight here. And Sunwolf goes down. Both rushes and another bomb coming out. Does it connect? Nope. But the remake does. Ooh. Kaeden's so low on HP. He not really there to get that trickle heal over the side, but it ends up getting that last kill. Ooh.
Oh, it looks like he got the Lucio in the last second there too.
This is very interesting. And now 2v2. Coming back with the Moira of fast heroes to really try and stagger this out. Sleepless getting a little bit confused. Ooh.
Good tracking.
There we go.
Ball.
And now it's Akron's turn to come out with the panic hero. It's like, we can't lose this. We need to throw absolutely everything we can to try and get this. But the C9 and the map goes to Barberton.
How many times has Akron C9 today? They really have a trouble with these fast heroes getting a little too fast and loose with the point.
I think they're not comfortable with the strategy because it's the second time. And I think it's more coming out of desperation rather than like a plan. This is what we do. Where Barberton really has drilled it into them that, okay, we're losing. Let's pull out the cheese.
And you know, no shade on Barberton, but Barberton has not been able to take a series against Akron before. And since Akron always comes out on the upper end, maybe they're not used to these playing from behind moments, so they don't have this skill that Barberton does when they have to pull out those last-minute heroes to get that last tick, to get that last second.
I would agree with that. No major changes to either team's loadout here. It's been a pretty consistent meta comp from both teams all throughout this series because they really know the game well. Say the positioning here. Barberton just walking straight to point, although they're a little bit slow compared to Akron here. Monk taking a nice wide off angle here, and then Akron just walking it back. But Sunwolf caught out in between 4 people. Of course Akron's going to punish that. Lamp comes out to buy a little bit of time. They're still up 1 hero. Levi in their face, not really getting punished. No right clicks on him. Kaeden just completely ignoring him. Preston eventually kills him. Finally somebody did there. Sleepless gonna go down, absolutely does, and now it's only 2 up for Barberton.
They need to just get out.
Absolutely. And then Sleepless coming back here, will he get punished again? I think he might.
You mean Sunwolf?
Sunwolf, yes, apologies. He doesn't actually, Akron lets him go. I think
he had the Wraith, he didn't Wraith in, so that at least gave him a way out.
If he didn't make it around that corner, he could have got clipped in the back of the head.
Been close, yeah. Sojourn up on the high ground here, the rest of the team's spamming in.
Excellent position from Monk. Although he wasted his disruption field, and it still puts a little bit of damage back in there. They're pushing onto the
They need to pick a target here.
Still, Levi just up inside the enemy team, and Sunwolf does not turn around to deal with it. He trying to support everybody, boosting everybody out there, trying to flank around for the pack, but it's still a down in numbers engaged here. And good night. There is the 2K with the pushback there from their Lucio. And yeah, that was an interesting fight. It's just Barberton has a chronic problem not dealing with the immediate threat. Meaning the Genji that's just in everybody's face, that's very much feeding. It's just not getting punished. Monk getting some free damage. Barberton trying to take ult there. Now they're pushed off the high ground. Beat coming out from Barberton here, although interestingly enough it was during 2 picks. It was hard to say when it should have been used, and now really all Akron has, well, I guess they're coming up on 3 ults here, so this is a little bit messy for Barberton. They're down an ult in economy. They can maybe match 2 for 3, but they're gonna have to play this smart. And Kaeden getting double dove here with no support and no counterplay is not playing smart, because look how much space they just gave up to Akron right now. And Sunwolf in the middle of the fray still, although he wraithed instantly for a reload, did not commit to a fight.
Primal out.
Yeah, Barberton getting a little bit panicked here, although they do get the 2K, trying to turn it around a little bit.
Levi. Finally,
there
yes,
we go.
That's what I want to see.
But look at this. So we have now 2 ults still for Akron and 1 for Barberton. And I would like to see the Sojourn get up top here with the Monkey, but where is our Sojourn? On the low ground, just shooting through main. Not really getting a whole lot of value there with that angle.
Not even taking the high ground center.
The ultimate does come out, but does it connect with enemy? No. Looks like Monk just goes down. Kaeden needs to be super careful.
Sunwolf gets picked.
Slowly pushing this back here. Now we're coming up on Rush and Blossom, but Akron's had the time where they've been slowly going into this, trying to play this slowly. Let's not use ults. Let's get enough to win a clean fight here, and they're going to come in and try to push with this. How does Barberton deal with it? They eat a purple right away, and they try to stuff here, but with no ult, and with so much damage coming out, there's nothing that Alec could have done there. He should have just let him come through. Huge healing grenade, although they're still trading. An emergency blossom comes out, although the beat connects.
Beat just in time.
Just a few HP left. And this is exactly what Akron was going for. They just wanted to play a slow, patient fight for the previous one. Come out, use all of our abilities right away, and then start using ultimates to chain this into a win here. So now how does Barberton come back? They're down in ultimate economy.
Yeah, they gotta have beat for this, but that's about it.
That could probably deal with the Blossom or possibly a beefed up Sojourn on Nano Boost here, but that's pretty much it. And Barberton goes straight for point. Yee, super low, tries to beat, but it does not come out in time. Levi realizing this gets the Nano Boost and immediately ults, and Barberton takes the W. A slow macro
Or takes
game.
the L, you mean. Akron with the W.
Akron with the W, of course, sorry.
No, so unfortunately, a lot of small mistakes here and there from Barberton's players, not capitalizing on all the mistakes that Akron had made. I very much feel, and I'm sure you'll second this, that was Akron's game to lose. They made plenty of mistakes and were playing in ways that were very punishable, but Barberton just didn't take that opportunity. Maybe didn't know how. Maybe
a lot of micro mistakes too from Barberton, where it's not like, oh, they're doing something horribly wrong. It's we're slightly out of position. We're not using our abilities. We're not really accounting for things, and we're not looking at the way Akron wants to play this game. And it's not like we had an issue like we did on Gibraltar, where we were just shoving the round peg through the square hole. This was more of what we've seen in the previous two games to that, where Barberton was just, oh, they didn't use this ability right in time, or they weren't standing in the exact right spot, which is going to determine the better team.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I'm really excited to see, because we saw some really positive growth out of Barberton once again. Barberton's varsity has been growing so strongly, but it's a team full of seniors, so this is going to be the majority of varsity's last shot in the spring. So what are they going to do in the offseason to get ready? How are they going to play? How are they going to prepare? What changes will we see on the team? That's going to be huge. And looking at the little mistakes that happened in this game that might, you know, maybe it's only one player makes a mistake in one. Let's say our DPS makes a mistake that costs us the first fight, and then our support makes us a mistake that costs us the second fight. Then the third fight is the tank. If everyone's making a small mistake at this point, each of those lost fights adds up to a lost match.
I would even say that after the second fight that you make a mistake, you're guaranteed lost a third fight because you've already fed so much. The ult charge just erases any skill that you have, and you lose in a macro sense. That's why these tiny mistakes matter so much, because of the butterfly effect. You miss one ability or you miss one shot, well, great. Now that you've lost that one team fight, you've lost the team fight 2 team fights from now because of the ult difference.
Yeah, and we saw that. You look at the ult charge from both teams, and Akron coming out ahead in almost all the situations. Anytime where Barberton didn't make those mistakes, Barberton came out on top, and it was consistent. I felt like when we saw Barberton succeed, they tend to succeed by a wide margin.
I would agree.
But either way, not the win we wanted to see. You know, congratulations to Akron STEM. We wish them good luck in the finals, in quarterfinals, and etc. And then we hope to take a win from them next season. Absolutely. As we return in the spring. So for now, we'll be signing off. And if any of our players are watching this match, get ready, because Coach Mosey is going to tear you apart in a private coaching sesh over this, so we can see what we really need to be doing to be taking the W. Thank you all the esports supporters. We appreciate the time you've given us this season, and we will be back in the spring.